You bring your phone everywhere. Work, school, the movies. Now you can bring it to an Xfinity store for an easy way to switch to Xfinity Mobile, a new kind of network designed to save you money. You can get up to 5 lines of talk and text included with Xfinity Internet at no extra cost, so all you pay for is data. It's never been easier to switch to Xfinity Mobile and keep the phone you love. Click here to see how. Sorry, I gotta take this. Restrictions apply. Limited to select mobile phones. Requires activation of a new line of Xfinity Mobile. Up to 5 devices per account. New Xfinity Internet customers limited to up to 2 lines pending activation of Internet service.
Just a quick note before we get the show started. We said at the end of last week's show that we were going to be reviewing the infamous Quantum Woo epic What the Bleep Do We Know this week, and in a sense, we did. I mean, we did review it, and we even recorded it and had an awesome guest on to do it with us, and unfortunately, there was a problem with her audio that we didn't catch until after the record, and by then it was too late to re-record or to record another episode before Tuesday morning. That's the bad news. The good news, though, is that we did record an extra episode a couple of weeks earlier that we were planning on using when Eli was on his honeymoon at the end of this month. So we do have an episode for you. It's just not the one that we intended to have for you. And if you're one of those masochistic folks that watches the movie along with us, we promise that we will be reviewing What the Bleep Do We Know next week, so it wasn't all for naught. Anyway, sorry about that, and without further ado, we bring you us reviewing a different movie instead.
Oh, Crazy Billionaire Money, we remake this where Heath just jumps into their dance circle, but it's just all fuck dancing. Just worming up on that car. Like the gas is open by the time he's done with it. Just undoes that latch from the inside.
You've seen me dance before, haven't you?
If Crazy Billionaire Money doesn't include Heath twerking, it's just not worth it. So yeah, they have a dance party.
If you're asking for a favor at your wedding? Check. Got it. Wink. Heard.
God awful movies.
Welcome back to the GAMcast, where each week we sample another selection from Christian cinema because the grocery store was fresh out of the spiked ankle things from the Da Vinci Code. I'm your host, Noah Lugeons, and sitting to my immediate left is my good friend Heath Enwright. Heath, welcome back.
Thank you, and praise be to Shakara Kiki.
And sitting 989 miles to my right is my bad friend Eli Bosnick. Eli, how are you this fine afternoon, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, I don't know if you guys have heard, but they have a poster now for Shaka Kiki, sort of a 1980s rock style. I'm looking at it on my wall right now. It's really beautiful. It's next to the "Don't Kill Yourself and or Other Things" rules whiteboard.
Yeah,
so it goes really well.
So we're already hinting around about it like crazy, but let's just be official here. Heath, tell us, what will we be breaking down today?
All right, we watched Vultures of Horror 2. Which is a movie about, nothing happens. It's about nothing. Nothing. This is the Seinfeld of Nigerian movies. It's ridiculous. They might as well just show us a table read, and that would be the whole thing. What's the deal with Vultures of Horror? Guess we'll find out in the next movie, because this one has no plot. It's terrible. Maybe something happens to the Vultures of Horror. No, nothing happens.
Nothing.
That's the movie.
You read on the show? And Eli, how bad was this movie?
Well, if you loved the first Vultures of Horror, but you thought to yourself, damn it, there's too few characters, and all this CGI is the devil, then you will love this movie. It's 2 scenes that happen over and over again for almost exactly an hour. It's the Waiting for Vultures. Yeah. It's Waiting for Godot, but Vultures.
So fucking bad. And I should point out, okay, so we decided to do this when Eli's going on his honeymoon, he's getting married and everything, bunch of shit coming up. So we decided we'd record a couple episodes in advance, and I thought, what better to do if we have to do an episode in advance, squeeze an extra one out than another Vultures of Horror episode. So much material, it'll be so funny, there'll be so much to talk about, it'll be so easy, and then yeah, we just get absolutely nothing for fucking 58 minutes or whatever. Now, as many of our listeners know, Vultures of Horror ranks out right up there with Losing My Virginity and Trying Butt Stuff for the first time. So this flick had a lot to live up to.
It was fun, wasn't it?
It was.
Yeah, it happened at the same time. A lot of people don't know.
So what I wanted to do to start was do a quick better or worse on the key elements of the film here. So Vultures 2, was it better or worse in terms of random characters showing up for no reason?
Worse. That's the whole movie.
Definitely
That's
worse.
just the entire movie. So
All right, how about cheesy by Atari standard special effects?
I'm saying worse. Again, almost nothing happens, so we don't see enough of those, in my opinion. That was
Yeah, a lady does blow onto a pot full of fire.
Yeah, it really peaks early.
That's about it.
How about, was it better or worse in terms of random people talking in the background of the audio?
Ooh.
Better. Much better.
Much
better.
Okay, I was going to say worse. I mean, and they also have like random futuristic weapons being used in the background, which doesn't make sense. No idea.
Pew.
Yep, that's the one.
Quite a bit of that, yeah. All right, how about, was it better or worse in terms of ample African asses?
Oh,
Much better.
Okay.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Much better. It didn't make any sense, but the scene
No.
where the girls all turn around and think they're models, I could watch that forever. I was okay with that.
Fantastic.
Certainly
Yeah.
the best scene in both of these movies put together. Okay, so is there anything that you'd like to nominate this one for being the best at being the worst at?
Can I go with being able to understand people whose first language is English? I kept yelling at Siri, being like, subtitles on, and Siri was like, dude, no one can do this. You're racist. No, you're racist, Siri. You're racist.
Actually, I was going to say something similar. Yeah, I'd say this is second best worst subtitles. Just not having them was difficult at times.
There were at least a couple of times when they switched into a different language or something, though. There have to have been. Otherwise, I'm more racist than I thought. All right, well, obviously we've been itching with anticipation for a long time on this one, so we're going to pause to put some Benadryl on that or something, and when we come back, we'll break down all the entirely unrelated scenes that are Vultures of Horror 2. There wasn't a post-colonic. Hey, guys!
Hey, Mr. Spaulding.
Hey, so how are my superstar writers doing?
Great.
Yeah, so I'm so excited to see these 5 scripts you wrote for me for Vultures of Horror 1 through 5. Can I check them out yet?
Oh, 5? Yeah, sure. Give me 1 second. So that's this is Vultures of Horror 1.
Oh, yeah, right. And then hold on, and then there. That's number 2.
Yeah.
Here's number 2.
Yeah, and then this one right here. These are 3, 4, and 5. There you go. There they are.
Yeah, you got them.
Guys, you very clearly just took a single script and tore it into 5 pieces.
What?
I am offended.
I would.
We would not.
Oh, hurtful.
Come on, never.
Check your privilege.
What the hell are we gonna... Let me see. Oh, well, you know what? I think maybe we could put this on TV in Nigeria.
Ooh, my brother Brian does special effects if you need a guy.
Fuck you.
And we're back for the breakdown, and we're going to start things off with this preview has been approved for all audiences screen that is not followed by a preview. Now, it takes us a minute to figure that out.
You think it's coming. It's not.
But I guess they just know that that's how movies start, so they started with that screen.
See, I have a theory, though. I have a theory. Hear me out. They finished this movie, and they were like, guys, we forgot to make anything happen in this movie. And they were like, maybe we can just trick Nigerians into thinking it's a preview for the next one? And to be fair, it worked on me until minute 50. Like, at minute 50, a lot of my notes are, man, this preview is extensive. And if you think about it as a preview for Vultures of Horror 3, it does work. It does set up Vultures of Horror 3. Now, we have no guarantees that anything will happen in Vultures of Horror 3, and I've been hurt before, but it could technically be the case. That's all I'm saying. I think we shouldn't close-minded to the fact that this might just be the world's longest preview.
Yeah, well, but here's the thing, though. At the end of Vultures 1, they played a preview for Vultures 2 that had all this crazy Vultures laser sci-fi bullshit. I don't think that ever happens. I don't think Cornel West ever does get attacked by that fucking chair. I think that's just something that they keep throwing in there to tease us into watching the next one. I'm starting to lose my faith in the Vultures of Horror. So yeah, so we start with the credits, where we get some sweet ass names like Too Sweet Anon. That's
Yeah.
actually one of the actors' names. And then it comes to the title screen, which says, I shit you not, 5 Vultures of Horror 2. And it's almost like they're saying right then, you're never going to know what the fuck is going on here, bro. Like, give up now. What the fuck are you talking about? So we start with okay, if you recall at the end of Vultures 1, we found out that it was all a dream because some lady that we'd never met woke up and started talking about the dream and praying. Well, we start with that scene again. We get to watch that one more time.
Right, yeah. When we left off last time, we were looking at a left breast, so that's where we start here.
Yeah, but it's not a dream because her dream or the actions of that dream will continue.
Yes.
Right.
So I still don't know who that character is, what she wants, or what information she and her fat husband who ignores her are supposed to be revealing to us. Everything is crazy. That's what I have to say about the whole movie. Thanks for listening to God Awful Movies.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. But that won't do it for our review just yet.
Evil Giraffes on Mars.
Because we still have the whole fucking movie to go. Okay, so yeah. No, they were just playing that damn scene as though try to connect us to it. But then I guess she falls asleep and starts dreaming about those same people some more, or some of those people some more. And all my notes here are, whatever happened to the preview? You promised us a preview. What the fuck is going on
not
here?
happening.
And then we cut to this next scene. Now, this scene just blows me the fuck away for so many reasons. It's 5.5 minutes long, and it's a man and a woman in a field with a cheap cross yell singing.
Yep.
Forever.
Look, I watched Ray's atheism movie, and the thing that I learned from it is that atheism is illogical and religion is logical. And there's nothing that assures me more that these people are coming from a logical, super well thought out place than 5 minutes of them screaming emotion words at a T made out of what used to be their house.
And it just keeps happening. They go for a while.
Oh, God.
I just wrote, wow, they're going to keep yelling like idiots. That's like 10 minutes now. It's they sound like Linkin Park became an a cappella band. It's just horrible.
Slightly better lyrically, though.
Also, quick director's note. Hey, should we move that tree that's blocking most of the shot? Nah.
Nope.
Should we shoot from a different angle? No. People want to look at a giant tree in the foreground obscuring all the action. Look how well it worked for International Gorillas. And am I mistaken, or was one of the lines of their song, Master Jesus, you are the poodle does right? It started early.
Yeah, I have Master Jesus, you are the bridge and the hose of our lives.
I think those are the actual lyrics, though. Pretty sure.
Who knows?
Yeah.
Who knows?
The guy, like I said, it's a man and a woman. The guy who's facing away from the camera is praising Jesus like he's breaking in a prison, bitch. And then he says, herbal father 3 times. And all my notes here are just, why are we looking at these characters through a weed? I don't want to see them either, but come on, we could have just skipped this scene. And then, of course, my other line is, Jesus Camp doesn't have shit on these two.
Show that little crying white girl. They all grew up and they're not okay.
Yeah, right.
We all read an article. They're not okay. We knew they weren't okay at the time, but we got
most depressing Breakfast Club clothes
of
all time.
You can fuck one of them, though, if you want. One of them's really into you fucking them. I'm gonna find her.
So that we get more than 2 solid minutes of 2 people yelling different shit, which is occasionally sung. That's the other thing, too, is it's not like they're saying a prayer in unison. It's 2 people yelling different things discordantly. Oh. So if you're wondering who those people were or what that was all about, you can go ahead and stop wondering. We're never going to know. This will never come back like everything else. And then we're back at the fruit stands from movie 1. You'll recall the evil wife has a bodega next to a good lady who she uses magic to thwart.
Yes. And they work at stands that sell cotton candy, condensed milk, bottles of Coke.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And a product that I could not Google. So later on, there's a package, I Googled it, it doesn't exist on the internet. The internet's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about, man. That's not a real thing.
I will admit, as soon as the Vulture a Horror theme started, I squirted a little, though. As soon as the auto-tuning came up, it was pretty awesome.
We all have, God, I missed this song.
Sweet song.
Vultures of Horror. but she's mad because her business isn't going as well. Now, these two women look identical, and not just because I'm racist. They are similar-looking African-American ladies wearing similar-looking clothing, so I don't want to hear it. All right? I will double-blind test anybody who tweets mad shit at me about this.
So, and to alleviate this issue she has with the other lady getting more business than her, she pulls out a pot that looks like if she smashed it, she would find a rupee or perhaps a boomerang.
I wrote, here, I'm just going to blow the fire out of this Zelda pot.
Couldn't look more like that. And she's blowing fire. Now, keep in mind, she's standing in the public square, blowing this fire into this pot. The fire is going in a straight line to the sky to summon the vultures of horror.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, this is exactly why you save the McGoblin after you eat the Happy Meal. For the evil spells. It's important.
So I guess she uses her magic spell. So now every time somebody walks up to her competitor's bodega, they get hit by a bomb from Astro Smash and walk over to her bodega instead.
That's a marketing list.
While she's doing this, she's just saying vultures of horror over and over. There's like, at least try to make it sound like magic words or something. This would be like Harry Potter just being like, I'm the good guy. I'm the good guy. Good spell. Good spell. Like, just change it up a little.
All I have to say is that's it. We're calling upon the fucking vultures. I want some of those evil Pokeballs too. I'd be like, I want people to go, I think I'll download Joel Osteen's. Wait a minute. No, I won't. Joel Osteen. No, I'm moving to the G's for some reason. I'm getting me one of those fire pots as soon as we get off the line. Anyway, so all the customers are getting hit with Atari graphics, and the good bodega lady is starting to wonder what the fuck's going on here.
Well, I want to point out, she loses 3 customers in a row and says out loud, must be Satanism. Like, there's no way 3 people wanted to shop at her competitor. It must be a magic spell. Now, this movie's crazy, and it turns out to be true.
Yeah, right.
Throughout this movie, we need to acknowledge how dangerous the ideas being put forward are, because people in Nigeria hack each other to death over this shit, which isn't real, all the time. And they watch this movie and they're like, see, that's why I killed Umbutu. He had 4 customers in a row. I was even more patient than this bitch is.
Yeah, stole my dick and everything. Now, so 3 consecutive customers come to her shop, and now she's putting a fucking down payment on a space station. She's counting her fucking Nigerian dollars, look like Monopoly money, like, oh.
Right, I want to point out, Nigerian money looks like what it's worth. Nigerian money looks like brochures for spelunking at a gas station, and I have no proof that that's not what it is. I have no proof that's not what
Looks like a paper menu at a diner or something. Oh, somebody already did the maze. Is that an ad for a hooker? Nice.
I also love, too, that, and we're going to get a lot of this in the movie, what has to happen in order for a scene to be fulfilled in this movie is a thing has to happen, and then we have to cut to a person talking to themselves about the thing that just happened.
Yeah, exactly.
It does that throughout the fucking movie, and there are 23 straight back and forth scenes where, like, the evil lady is like, I am making much money today thanks to the vultures of horror, and the good lady is like, I'm not making much money today because of Satanism. We go back and forth on that forever.
Yeah, apparently the writers thought that scene was too subtle for the audience, so we literally watch evil vultures lady count money and explain the plot so far. It's just going, I'm evil, and this is my evil money that I made because of the evil magic, of which I am a practitioner. Evil money indeed.
Evil is key. Evil is key.
Right.
So then we cut to that night. She's talking to a great tiki mask.
Right, and I thought she was talking to the tiki from Major League, and then I realized I have very different feelings about Major League now because Charlie Sheen has AIDS.
Well, the husband looks exactly like Pedro Serrano.
He does,
just like Joe Boo.
And I gotta say, when he walked on screen, I started clapping like it was a show on Fox from the 90s or something, I was pretty excited to see him. Of course, this is the evil guy who held his own head while his neck was on fire in the first one.
I will buy some Allstate coverage. That sounds great.
You got hit by an Astro Smash bomb.
And I just want to say, I know lots of African American studies professors whose bed sheets his outfit is made out of. So, like, I really...
Yeah, he's Thing 1 and Thing 2 went to the Playboy Mansion. It's crazy.
I just wrote, I will never be badass enough to pull off those jammies. And then I wrote, do the hold your neck head fire thing. Come on, man. Come on. Do it. He's going to do it.
He doesn't do it.
He
It's
doesn't.
so disappointing.
To cheer her up, do you want me to hold my head in my own hand? No, not now.
No, luckily, all I needed to cheer me up was to notice that in the background of this scene, there is a great Shakara Kiki album cover hanging over the bed.
Yeah, they've got a great Shakara Kiki album poster. It looks like a tour. It looks like it's from the 1994 Shakara Kiki tour.
Right, it was the Vultures of Horror tour by Great Shakara Kiki. Yeah, exactly.
Bunch of assholes.
Like, I heard them at first at Coachella after Maisie and the Diamonds, and then I was like, you know what, man? I'm gonna like see what they're into. But their own shows, their solo shows, are so much better. So yeah, in this movie universe, devil-worshipped vultures have mass marketing media. Like, you can pick up their posters.
Like them on Facebook, yeah.
And they use the characters in this movie aren't even used. They're using them to mildly increase sales at a flea market.
Right.
They have evil, magical laser vultures, and that's what they've done with it.
Now, also, this movie is not paying attention to itself because in the first movie, she used the Vultures of Horror against this same lady. Remember, that's the lady that the skeletons came and attacked in the first one, and she put the holy water on them. I'm pointing that out because later on, they're going to totally betray the first movie. Right. I like consistency. So, yeah, so she's
Fucking
just saying,
canon.
like... Yeah, exactly. They're fucking it up, man. Batman never did get taught karate by fucking what's his name. So she's
The Joker.
I was thinking of the other guy. So she's Ra's al Ghul. So she's going to do everything that she can to maintain all of her customers with evil magic. And I got to be honest, I prefer to go to the bodega that's willing to use satanic magic to secure my business. That means something to me. Are you willing to go that extra mile? Are you willing to summon vultures for my can of tomatoes sale?
Yeah. So now we cut back to the shop again for the exact same scene. And I noticed at this point that she definitely has canned tomatoes. And I think I'd be bored at this point if I wasn't too busy fucking so hard to the Vultures of Horror themes. And Anna was sitting next to me as I wrote that note, and Anna turned to me and goes, "No, you aren't." And I wrote, "You don't know."
Shit. This is such a little moment too, but this is so amazing. This little kid walks up to buy a can of tomatoes and a can of Coke or whatever you can get at this fucking shop, and he starts talking exactly as the lyrics for the Vultures of Horror theme come in. So for just a second, there's this lip sync moment where this little kid's going, "Vultures, Vultures of Horror,"
In auto-tuner.
pretty fucking amazing.
This theme sounds like Boy George got turned into an evil robot. It's weird. Vulture Club. It's weird.
Again. But the only thing you need to learn about this scene is that her charm of summoning the Vultures of Horror to laser people with marketing is no longer working, and she's bummed about it.
Yeah, the two customers in a row go to the other lady, so now she's completely freaking out.
She's doing devil worship this time.
Yeah, well, I mean... Yeah, well, Heath already pointed it out, so I'm not going to point out once again that you could just use vulture magic to have a less shitty job. Like how much money could you make just going out on the streets and saying, "Hey, $4, I'll summon a vulture"?
Yeah, and don't run the same canned tomato store right next to another canned tomato store at a flea
bad
market. Like,
business.
whether or not you have the Vultures of Horror to affect your sales, that's just silly. Just bad business.
So she's all upset because her customers aren't coming back today. And I thought, hey, maybe magic pots and devil birds have nothing to do with whether or not people happen to go. But no, because it's this stupid fucking movie. Apparently she's countered the hacks or something. So
Right, and she's dressed like a Komodo dragon in this scene, which I deeply appreciated. And her husband explains that Chakra Kiki works in mysterious ways. And we basically get the problem of evil jingly keys that we get in every Christian movie, except the Satan worshiper is explaining it about the Vultures of Horror. So
Yes!
It's nice to know that Christian God and Chakra Kiki on the same page. They work in mysterious ways. Who are you to question them? Where were you when the vultures made the whirlwind or burned that house down in the last movie? You get it.
yeah, right.
The wife's basically, she's like, where did this other person get these powers? What charms is she using again? Isn't Isn't Chakra Kiki the son of God who died for our sins? You think we could be wrong on that? You think it's somebody else? Because it seems like it might be somebody else.
I've got almost the same notes. My note is, funny how their arguments for Chakra Kiki are exactly the same as the ones they use for God. Yeah, I think we all noticed. Yeah.
Oh, when I finally agree to formally debate David Barton, I'm going to present the argument from Chakra Kiki.
You're only going to get it 8% of the time. You better go fast.
That's okay. I'm going to use it to point out that he doesn't know anything and he looks like a lizard upside down in slow motion.
So in this scene, what we're learning is what happened in the previous scene, that Chakra Kiki didn't give her all the business. And she says she's not mad at Chakra Kiki. She's just disappointed.
Also, several other transitive verbs that don't belong together there. He has disappointed me. He has besmirched me. No, that's not.
He has bespoken me. No, that's not. So yeah, and the dad, the husband, who is now in a different pair of phenomenal pajamas.
Oh my God, these people have a walk-in closet of just loud, shiny pajamas and nothing else. There's no other explanation.
No one in this movie, in either of these movies, can be in the same outfit in 2 consecutive scenes, even if it's still the same conversation. It's fucking amazing. So yeah, but he explains that Chakra Kiki never disappoints you. It's never happened to him before. And then we cut to a balcony where... Okay, first we get this bizarre thing. Okay, we're cutting to another scene, and this is going to be good bodega lady on the balcony. But right before that, at the end of the last scene, the husband looks up and he says, "Oh, great Chakra Kiki." And then we look at a balcony as though he's Romeo and Julieting Chakra Kiki.
Exactly.
Oh God, I wanted Chakra Kiki to come out in a white sort of see-through nightgown, start talking about Kunta Kinte.
Giant fucking bird with a teddy on or something. Yeah, that'd be awesome. So, no, but this lady is, okay, this is good bodega lady, and she's going to stand here talking about something that happened the previous day while holding a trash bag full of petrified turds or something. I'm almost certain that the first half of the sentence was not in English.
Yeah, all of our notes are identical. They're all like, I don't know what she's saying. Why is she so sweaty and shiny? Is this from the Bible?
I did catch the word born again, though. I think she was saying, she says, like, these born again Christians are pretty powerful. Like, I'm going to ask for some more spells to deal with this whole Vultures situation, or I already did, and this is a flashback that's coming. Whichever makes more sense. I'm not going to tell you yet.
Yeah, so after a line that switches between Igbo for full day and English without subtitles, we get a flashback or a different scene. Eventually we figure this out, but there's very little to go on right now. But this is a flashback to her talking to an old lady about a widow with 4 kids that we will never meet and never have met in this film.
Yeah. But basically the old lady is like, here's the crucifix of Christ. And I'm like, as opposed to the crucifix of Steve or Dave? And also what is very clearly a bottle of olive oil.
Well, and here's, just to give you an idea how ridiculous this stupid fucking movie is. We get the 2 of them talking, and she's like, oh, somebody's using evil devil vulture magic against me. And the other lady's like, meet me tonight and I will give you something to help. And then we immediately cut to the next scene where she's meeting her that night to give her the crucifix and the olive oil. It's like they couldn't put that all together in one scene.
One sweet iMovie cut later.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I figured out at this point, too, that this movie is like a puzzle game. It's like once I figure out what the hell this scene was about, it moves on to the next one. So it became a bit of a game for me. So
escape the movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So she gives her the crucifix and the oil, and she's like, well, you have to really believe in Christianity. But okay, fine. I'm going to give you the magic oil this one time. It's actually hard to get. They're banning it because people are using it for butt stuff or something like that. Don't use it for butt stuff. Just use it for, like I said.
She also, I love this line. She says, the old lady says, the battle at hand is not to be fought with empty hands. So there will be no karate battles in this movie. At least they let you know there.
I'm out. This interview is over.
Oh, shit.
She also says, don't forget to testify what the Lord has done for you. And I just want to point out that it becomes very, very clear, if it wasn't already, that the Christian God in this movie is just one of many competing deities. These people are basically like showing up like, my God can beat up your God, the contest. This is definitely not the one and only God we're used to seeing in Christian films. They're just proposing that Christ is a slightly stronger demon God that works in mysterious ways.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, and then she's like, and of course this is all, like I said, a flashback to how this lady countered the hex of the Vultures so that she could get her 3 customers back the following day. But again, I had no idea what the fuck was going on, so I thought she was still trying to counter the spell, even though it was already countered. I'm thinking Inarritu made this fucking movie or something. But then we get the spectacular swoosh cut. This is, I believe, Windows Movie Maker Transition 6.
Yeah.
And that's to her using her Jesus magic, sprinkling her magic olive oil about her shop.
Yeah, I just wrote, so it was a flashback. Just tell us. We know what flashbacks are. You can just say, or use the blililoo or something. God damn it.
Is blililoo not the same as swoosh?
Oh, I see.
I think they just thought there was supposed to be a noise there.
But the thing is that the swoosh didn't lead us out of the flashback. The swoosh led us to her sprinkling the stuff. That's still in the flashback.
Exactly.
And then that cuts to the scene where she was on the balcony earlier, and after we watch her sprinkle for about 15 minutes. And I love this particular moment because it cuts back to her on the balcony, and she's got the bag of petrified turds, which turns out to be the crucifix and the olive oil, and she has to just set that on the balcony, but it clearly won't set right. So she has to very awkwardly lay it down on its side.
It's like watching a drunk guy balance his beer on the hood of his car.
Yes!
You're all the way on the edge. I'm just going to help you. I'm just going to help you.
I'm going to show you I'm fine to drive. Give me 1 second. I just got to put it. I'm fine. Get off me. Get off me. You can't have my fucking keys. Cause you're drunk. That's why. Keeping my keys away from you.
I'm going to do a magic trick. Does anybody have a set of keys? Perfect. Hey, thank you.
And basically, in this scene, so she sprinkles her thing with magic, all of her customers come back, but her conclusion is, all my customers came back, but my husband says he's gonna go to a different god later this week and bring me a super strong charm, so I guess I'll just clumsily put this plastic bag where the mic can get closest to it. And we'll see. She's trying out gods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I got pink hearts and orange stars and yellow moons and green clovers on the way. So we'll see what happens.
She's just walking around a supermarket eating the samples. And you're like, lady, I know you're not going to buy these hot dogs. Take as many as you like. Stop acting like you're making a purchasing decision.
So she's waiting for her husband to bring what he promises will be the strongest charm of all, and that's what all husbands say, but whatever. So now forget about those characters and everything that's happened up until this point in the movie, because none of it will matter ever again. We are now at a college, or I think it's a college. So we're at a college where there are 3 buddies standing around texting when 2 hot chicks walk by.
Yeah. And these dudes are dressed like a Boko Haram music video. They have nothing makes sense is what they're wearing. No.
Yeah. And Amber Rose walks by. Pretty sure that's Amber Rose.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to save everyone a whole lot of time and pain, because at this point, I still thought I was watching a preview. But that doesn't matter. The point is, one of these gentlemen is in love with Amber Rose, and she won't love him back, and that is the majority of the B plot of this movie. And he comes up to her, or his friends come up to her and say, hey, he's got a letter for you, which without looking at, she tears into tiny, tiny, tiny pieces, like she's working at a confetti factory.
Yeah, no, she tears it in half and again and again. I'm saying there's no way she's strong enough to grip these tiny pieces at that point. Never mind, I'm wrong. She's a ninja warrior. She keeps going a few more times.
Apparently. Now, I have to ask, is this the evil daughter from the first movie? Is that who this character is?
Oh, maybe.
I think it is. I got to go back and find out. It would make at least a little more sense, but not much. My music note here, by the way, is what kind of evil awaits Conan in that cave?
I wrote, there's no way that the Batmobile gets there in time. Unless. Nope, nothing happened. There's no plot to this movie.
Yeah, but so she rips up Jerry's note. It's Jerry that wants to fuck her so bad. And throws away the pieces or whatever and wanders off. And clearly the guys are not pleased. And neither is her much hotter friend, who tells her to stop being a total bitch to Jerry.
Yeah,
She says to her, he could be Mr. Right, to which Amber Rose replies, what kind of insult is that? And the answer is, not an insult. That's not how that... just a statement. Do you know that your eyebrows look like an angry bird?
They really do. There's a lot of things going on ridiculous about this character's appearance. She's got earrings that seem to be made of actual beaver tails.
They do.
She's killed 2 beavers and hung them off her ears. And she's also got enormous sunglasses
Tits.
on this whole time.
Oh, yeah.
It could be New Year's Eve and Elton John would be like, nah, a little too much.
Tone it down, darling,
Yeah,
tone it down.
just take it easy.
And just while we're on earrings, it is like it's like a brilliant Tim and Eric sketch, because every moment, every scene, the earrings get crazier and huger every moment throughout this movie. Like, no matter what earrings someone's wearing in this scene, the next scene, they will be wearing crazier fucking earrings. So just keep an eye on it if you watch it.
Oh, yeah.
I just want
It's like beach umbrellas, Monopoly boards. It's madness.
I just want to point out that the guy who gave Hangover all that shit and Entourage last week cannot mention Tim and Eric without attaching the word brilliant to it. Just gonna throw that out. So my note here is, I've made it through a third of this movie. I deserve a fucking cake. Yeah. And also, and this is going to be a constant theme through this movie, virtually none of the actors can deliver a line without screaming it as the last line of a fight.
Or they're like 30 feet behind the audio equipment.
Well,
and they're like, no, wait up. I'm far away from the mic. Hold on. I want to have a conversation with you once I catch up to the microphones.
Shit.
It's one or the other.
And this scene, by the way, okay, so the two girlfriends, like, argue about whether she should fuck Jerry. And the scene literally ends with one of the characters still talking as she walks away from the microphone. She's mid-sentence and the scene just ends. We're on to something else.
Slumber party!
Now, this was the most bizarre, I think, the movie ever got. It was the best the movie ever got, too. It's these 3 extremely hot, well, 2 extremely hot chicks and a hot chick in their, I guess, dorm room for 7-year-olds chatting about things that have nothing to do with anything we've seen before or will see again.
Yeah, she has kitten curtains, a Hannah Montana poster. These are full-grown adults. A Hannah Montana poster and a Winnie the Pooh poster.
Fathead.
Both fatheads
Yeah.
on the wall here.
And when you see the close-ups, you can also see there are Minnie Mouse stickers next to the fucking Winnie the Pooh fathead. So yeah, apparently, like 7-year-old girl, 27-year, same thing in the minds of these filmmakers. And what we have here essentially are 3 characters talking about another character that we've never met extensively for a long time.
Yeah. And one of them is wearing the largest earrings I have ever seen. She basically has 2 of the 3 Barnum and Bailey rings on her ears throughout this. It's entirely distracting.
My note is her earrings are so big, I feel like Eli should be magically linking them.
I say, I've done tricks with those rings. I need those back.
So apparently, and what we learn very slowly in this is that the 3 of these girls are in a competition, and just as I'm thinking to myself, ooh, tell me it's a how deep does it go contest, we learn that not quite as good. It's the most beautiful girl on campus contest, and we learn that because they start spinning around and showing off their asses all sexy like.
Yeah.
That didn't need to have a reason. I'm with them.
Yeah, I was okay with it, but it was the lamest scene ever because she's basically like, okay, I will be the judge. Now is the contest. And then they take turns standing up and she's like, you are the runner-up, you are the winner. And then they all applaud and it's over. It's the craziest thing in the world.
And again, we can't overemphasize the fact that we will never see these characters again. This competition they're talking about will never come up again.
Nope.
Yeah.
I've got to imagine laser vultures have something to do with it in part 3, but doubtful.
Don't hold on hope.
Hopefully
Don't
it'll
hold
come
on hope.
back. So now we cut to a more grown-up dorm room with the chick that wouldn't fuck Jerry and the evil eyebrow tit girl from before. And once again, they're talking about Jerry.
Evil eyebrow tit girl looks like the vampires from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She looks like Joss Whedon threw them one of those masks and was like, here, you guys want to use that? And they were like, do we?
And so, but at first in this scene, they're complaining. Is she complaining about her professor molesting her? Is that what she's saying?
Yeah, her professor, who is all of the students' favorite, is really pursuing her, and her friend, whose sole function in this movie seems to be, why don't you fuck the people who want to fuck you, is like, you're being kind of a bitch about not fucking your professor.
I guess. Yeah, so they don't want him to be the new HOD. I don't know what the fuck that means, but the old HOD is gone and someone's getting promoted, and she doesn't want it to be this professor that keeps molesting her.
And Amber Rose's friend is like, yeah, but once he gets the promotion, he's going to have to stop molesting students. You're fine. Like, stop being a bitch about it. And he's really good at lecturing. That's the real point here. Teacher's value has very little to do with molesting. It's about lecturing. And she goes, in fact, I'm going to pray to have God cancel your prayers about not getting molested.
That's what she says.
Really? This is going to be Spotlight 3, Blacklight.
So... And by the way, the friend, the Angry Bird chick, is she now British? What happened with that accent?
It's changed like 15 times already. She seems to have landed on British Fast and Furious Extra, but it's cycled a lot.
Yeah. So then they get a visitor, and damn it if it isn't that asshole Jerry trying to bring bald, less hot chick a gift. Now, her reaction when Jerry shows up is to literally leap out of her bed and run away without even grabbing her keys or anything. She literally runs away from him. I have struck out with a lot of girls in my lifetime. I have never had one just run from the room when I show up. Jerry, move on, bro.
Yeah, Jerry, it's time to give up. Look, your gift from the airport mall looks nice, but when they get up and leave like you're a spider, it's time to call it off.
Yeah, it's a weird scene. He comes in and he's like, "Oh, she just ran out." Well, just so you know, he starts talking to the friend instead. I've been stalking Amber Rose over there. Just please tell her. Well, she knows. That's the whole nature of this whole thing. Doesn't matter. Just give her this stalker gift bag. It's got some nice stuff. Hair doll.
Yeah, there's some very serious stalker shit going on, but her friend is encouraging the fuck out of it. She's like, I'm sure she's going to break any moment now. It's like she was just telling you she would basically rather deep throat a fucking broken plate glass window than talk to this human being, and you're telling him, no, she's going to come around any minute.
And this is where we see her like full face for the first time, and she has one blot of eyeshadow on her forehead, and that is it. This is the makeup they chose for that character in the scene. Also, when Jerry's declaring his love for her to the less attractive Angry Bird friend, he says, quote, "She's the only girl I love in this campus."
Yeah. Yeah.
Seems like a weird restriction, right? I mean, it's stolen straight from my vows, and that's fine. That's fine. I'm not mad, but like, she's the only girl. You're my favorite girl in the room.
Yeah,
the borough.
right. You're the most beautiful girl in this entire zip
all of
code.
Washington Heights.
So now we get the Jerry scene, and then we cut to the same goddamn scene, except Jerry's not there anymore, and the girls are dressed differently, but we're in the same room with the same characters. And apparently in this scene, they're working on their homework, and she's ignoring Jerry's calls.
Yeah, and she has, Fat Amber Rose has Valentine's Day chocolate containers on her wall.
Yep.
As a decoration.
Yep. And I want to point out the Foley on this phone is fucking amazing. Like when the phone starts ringing, it's a different ringtone every time, and it just fills the room with sound, and they react to it like 2.5 seconds early. It's really good. Really well done, guys.
And she says, when he calls her a second time, does he want to give me low battery?
Really?
Yes, he does, baby. Yes, he does.
It's fucking amazing. There's also, her friend starts to argue on Jerry's behalf again here, and this fucking fantastic moment where she goes, you know, you don't know what he wants. You have not even given him a 5-second chance. And it's like, what does her friend think he wants from her? Think he wants to play Words with Friend? He wants to flies in Candy Crush?
Also, apparently her phone just doesn't have an ignore option. And also, is it just me, or do they show us this dude's phone number?
Yes, it is a real number. I will bet anything in the world I could call that cast member. And that guy would be like, stop, seriously, stop it. I'm working on Vultures of Horror 27.
And just in terms of general message here, it's not clear that Jerry's the bad guy for being a terrifying stalker. It seems like the movie thinks like Quinn is being a bitch about getting stalked. She's not being reasonable with her stalker. That's the theme we're getting.
That if that's not what they mean, they've done a terrible job of presenting that. Because now we're going to cut to Jerry thinking about how awesome he is and wondering what the fuck is up with Quinn, why she won't fuck him already.
Yeah.
I love Eli's note to bring us into this scene as well.
I'm the king of this school, the top-rated player of all time.
At the
that is what he
sports
says.
or something. No, I was actually talking about your scene description, which is then we cut to prison or houses because Africa is terrible.
Yeah, I was like, are they jail cell
they
people?
look like
It's
jail cells.
not clear. I just wrote, and Jerry is stepping outside of his prison cell, and he seems to love the smell of toilet wine in the morning.
Right.
Smells like failure.
Jerry looks like a black fan fiction drawing of Jafar. Like he should be on some genderqueer person's Tumblr somewhere.
He kind of looks like a werewolf that doesn't go all the way back to human face. And kind of like a vampire. He looks like Edward Fuck Jacob. and I'm also a Nigerian guy.
Team Jerry.
Team Jedward.
And in his VO, right, so he walks out of his prison home campus thing, and his brain is telling us that no girl has ever turned him down before. So he's a rapist, I think. And and then his buddies show up to chill with him. And I want to point out, okay, in this scene, there's like 3 cage doors or whatever, and there's a bunch of people standing over, unrelated to the scene, by the 3rd door. You know, like everything we need to see is in the first door. 3 doors down, there's a bunch of people standing there and hanging out, and the camera keeps cutting to those people like, what the fuck are those guys up to? They have nothing to do with the action, but the scene keeps cutting over to them like, look, these are 3 different black men.
And they never come up. It
No.
never comes up again.
No.
We just cut over. I think the cameraman was hoping they'd like hang out with them. He was just like, hey, you guys want to be in the movie? Like, it's pretty lonely. So like, oh, you guys are in the movie too. What if you were in the movie too? You'd have to come to lunch with us afterwards.
So yeah, it's like, and his buddies are there to talk to him about what his voiceover was just talking to us about, which is how he should just move on and not worry about that girl anymore. And when his friend says that, he turns to him, he goes, "It's obvious you don't," extremely long pause, "know my next line, do you, perhaps?" I don't remember. And I think that's why we kept cutting to those 3 unrelated people in the other room, because I don't think they could get any of these actors through 2 lines without having to stop and look at a script. Right. So congratulations, we've made it halfway, and then this scene ends as though the cameraman got arrested, and I certainly hope you weren't attached to any of those characters we just spent the last 10 minutes with, because we will literally never see any of them again.
Good. I was not. I was not at all.
No, I did like that one girl's ass. So as you're digesting that little nugget of what the fuckery, we'll pause for a well-earned break, but before we do, let me give Act 3 the hard sell. Will the Frisbee earringed girl win the beauty contest? Will the new charm that good bodega lady is getting be enough to fend off the vultures? Will Jerry's efforts at courtship pay off? Who the fuck knows? Certainly not the second half of this movie, but what the hell, you made it this far, you might as well stick around for the unrelated conclusion of Vultures of Horror 2.
Post-colonoscopy. Hi, I'm Tony D of Mr. Kojo's Power Plant Security, City Planning, and Free Money Emporium. And we got an amazing sale going on this week. Just check out these deals.
Well, hello there. I'm the little girl with the inside-out eyelids from a different episode. I asked Mr. Kojo for money, and the amount that I got was enough to get me a new house, a new apartment, and these robot eyelids you can see I'm wearing. Thanks, Tony D.
When I needed a place not only to put the power plant, but men to protect it, I knew that Mr. Kojo's Power Plant Security, City Planning, and Free Money for Widows weren't just the best option, but they were quite literally the only option.
Mr. Kojo's Power Plant Security, City Planning, and Free Money Emporium. Because if this character doesn't pay off in the next 12 of these Vulture movies, I'm gonna find these actors and kill them.
So, we couldn't help but notice that last time we finished a Vultures of Horror movie, we were promised exploding skeletons, attack birds, and all we got was a lady blowing on a fire pot. And while that was disappointing, it does leave us wanting more. So with that in mind, we've designed a trailer for next week's episode that we hope appeals to you in the same way that Wicked Vultures now appeals to us.
Quick, Eli, get on my razor scooter.
I'll take my talking chipmunk dicks with me.
Pikachu.
Watch out, it's a laser camel.
The world's tallest water slide.
And here's a diagram of how you do a puzzle in a thunderstorm.
Cool, let's describe it.
Next week on God Awful Movies. Pikachu. And we're back for the breakdown, and we're going to start with the wife from the first movie, the good guy's wife from the first movie that hasn't been in this movie yet at all, waking up in her nightgown, and if she'd said, "Oh my god, I dreamed the first half of a terrible Nigerian movie," it would have made just as much sense.
Right, and look,
more actually.
I don't mind watching porn for women, but if I'm gonna watch the beginning of porn for women, there better be some end of porn for women, which is people fucking. Cause all they do, it's supposed to be like appealing romance talk for women, but the mastery of the language is at a 2nd grade level, so she's just like, "You treat me like every day is Valentine's Day," and he's like, "Every day should be Valentine's Day," and I'm like, well, no, the chocolate sales aren't sustainable, like we'd have to have a chocolate-based economy. There's a lot of reasons why every day shouldn't be Valentine's Day. This scene is the movie version of when black people share memes about hitting their kids. I don't understand it. I don't get it.
Oh, Jesus. We're never going to get Ishmael back on this show.
No. He said it was okay.
We just get... So we just get this, extended, fully clothed foreplay scene, basically establishing that there are two humans that exist. Remember them? Mm-hmm. There's also this great moment, they got the background song is going or whatever, and for just a second, he starts singing along to the background music, like really loudly, but doesn't know the words.
Not even close.
Very clearly.
It's awesome. It's actually Casey and JoJo All My Life that's playing, which was our song with my first girlfriend. Very exciting. Learned to play it really badly on piano. She touched my penis. Best day ever.
There's a piano and a penis right here in this room, if you wouldn't mind.
Are you a fan?
To that.
We'll find out.
If you get Heath drunk enough, he'll cry that song at you.
Yeah, right, exactly. I was going to say, if the song or the penis, or both. So
no
and that's...
one ever find another lover special as me. Special as me. I'm done.
Okay, good. That's it for that scene. Apparently you have learned enough. It's on to the supermarket with other characters we haven't met.
This entire movie is it's about what a bunch of characters do between plots.
I guess.
Is that so we don't get scared? Like, we know they're fine. They're characters. Just go to the next movie.
I just want to know how Harry Potter was between books 6 and 7, you know? Right. What did he have for brunch that day? Oh, I would read an entire Harry Potter book about just Harry, like, fucking around his house, just like, I think the TV's broken. It's not broken, Harry. The remote's out of charge. Why would you even have to charge the remote?
Why do we need a second one for the TV and for the cable? Can't we just get a universal?
Bullshit.
Wand it, man.
Yeah, right?
But yeah, we go to a supermarket that apparently sells just boxed juice?
Certainly their primary
Boxed
item.
juice and shampoo.
And douche, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I guess they're doing inventory. No, okay, so wait. My racism is going to come out again. Was the older woman, is that the wife that we just woke up with? Is that who that was?
I think so.
Okay. It's her, I guess she runs this grocery store and her 2 employees doing inventory or something. And while they're doing that, a new different character shows up having been beaten by her husband, who is also not a character we know.
Right. Yeah. And all of us are unsure whether or not this movie is pro or against violence.
It was not
violence.
very clear. No. And her response, like the good wife response, it repeatedly is to say, he needs to grow up.
Grow up. He smashed her into a coma. Those are the exact words.
Yes.
And she's like, she got better, but you know, she's still a witch. Burn her. Like that's the message we're getting. It's crazy.
Yeah. He needs to grow up.
Awful immature to beat the women in your life unconscious.
As I understand it, yeah. So this weird dark turn, which, by the way, again, goes nowhere. We never see this woman again. We don't know her husband. Nothing ever happens because of this, but we needed that scene.
So now we cut to the good guy from the last movie, the one who the homeless guy ran up to and was just like, hey, get out of your Jeep Grand Cherokee and give me and my kids money. So this is his office, and we have no fucking way of knowing that because he is not present in it, but he's about to be. And there is a widow there asking his secretary and his evil assistants for free money, because apparently what he does at this office is give away free money, plan cities, and do nuclear plant security. That's apparently this guy's business. But yeah, the widow is there asking for money, and her assistant and her coworker are telling her that that's not what she's supposed to be doing, and this is bad.
Yeah, that pretty much sums it up. And I want to point out, this is minor, but I want to point out, this is not the widow that the 2 characters were talking about from before. Like earlier, we had 2 characters talking about a widow for no reason. They specifically said that she had 4 kids. This widow has 6 kids. So just like they might as well have made it the same fucking widow, but they didn't. There are different widows with a lot of kids.
They couldn't book that actress again, I guess.
It wasn't, but they didn't even, there wasn't even an actress there. They were just talking about somebody who wasn't even on screen.
They couldn't book that concept. Of
I guess
not.
But yeah, so they kick this poor old widow out who's asking for free money, and it gets loud, and I guess this is when we cut into the good brother from the first movie, who hears the noise and has to call his secretary, who is 1 room away, and say, hey, come in here and tell me what was going on after you come in here.
Yeah, and the secretary goes in, she explains to the boss, she told the poor widow lady he was too busy, and he says, may God have mercy on your soul. Like, bit of an extreme reaction. I feel like could have toned that down a little bit.
Right, well, and he's like, why did you send her away? And she says, because you said you were busy and couldn't be disturbed. And he's like, so what?
Oh, do you not know what that sentence means? That sentence means I can leave if you don't want someone out there to stop people from walking in. If I'm busy and don't want to be disturbed doesn't mean those words, then I can just head on home. They're opening a Subway about 3 continents away, and I thought I'd check it out. Wanted to try out some fresh bread for the first time in ever.
Canned tomatoes are pretty damn good. So yeah,
right.
and then he says, well, you go out and find her. And he's like, well, what if she's already left? But luckily she hasn't, because she's immediately outside the door. The secretary leaves and shows back up 9 fucking nanoseconds later.
She just runs back outside, immediately smashes into the widow. Hey, will you come back inside? Yeah, I heard. I was listening through the door.
Yeah, she gets brought to him slightly quicker than the Vatican in Leap.
Exactly.
Yeah, and this is where we learn that he's a professional give money to peopleologist or whatever, because she just comes in and she's like, yeah, I don't have any money and my husband died and you had money, so I thought maybe I'd ask you for money. He's like, that's a great idea. I'll give you money.
Here's 5,000 Nigerian dollars.
Which is literally $15.
$15.71 in American money right now, yes.
Big spender.
It's enough for her to get an apartment and some food and settled in. And then he gives her his business card. And this is the craziest moment of the movie. He goes, here, take my card. It's complimentary. And I was like, oh, one of those free business cards. I want to get one of those.
Does he normally charge for those?
Yeah, right. What?
Crazy.
There's also this other great line in there. He goes, while he's agreeing to give her money, he says, those people who wish for you to die in poverty or die wretched are going to be ashamed. And she's like, well, I mean, thanks, but I don't think anybody wants me to die in poverty.
Shut up! People want you to die in poverty and ashamed.
Hard enough
Trust
to balance
me.
up on this pedestal without you distracting me, motherfucker.
Let's just say there's a certain secretary who's really looking forward to you dying wretched and being ashamed. I'm just saying. Just saying.
I'm not going to name any names, but
It's her birthday.
apparently. So he gives her the money. And we get the Vultures of Horror auto-tune song. Not sure why. I mean, usually that comes up when evil shit's going on.
Right.
But then we cut to the same scene again at a different time, and we know that because he's in a different suit.
Yeah.
This time maroon.
Yeah, ridiculous burgundy maroons. Did the entire store get the flu? What the fuck happened? What are you doing?
Yeah, the leather jacket, which I know you hate. Yeah, he's dressed as a fucking bellhop, and they never explain why.
But he calls his secretary in, and in about 85 minutes, he manages to explain, it's her birthday, here is a birthday present, you can go home early. But they say it so slowly, and with so many compliments for him in between, that I just thought they were gonna fuck. I wrote in my notes, if they don't fuck, I revolt. No TPP. No TPP. No TNT. No BLT.
I'm not a big fan. I don't like tomatoes that much. Yeah, so.
Oh, you mean the sex act or the sandwich?
And
He meant the sandwich. Never mind.
And again, they could have just put this into the last scene. At the end, when the widow left, he could have said, oh, and secretary, here's your birthday gift, and take up. But no, this had to be a different scene. My note here is 2/3 of the way. 2/3.
Yeah. None of this matters. None of this matters. We'd learn more by watching them eat lunch in silence. That would be a more useful scene. We'd learn about
My
the
note,
characters.
I'm checking the time every 4 seconds.
Oh my
Why
God.
do 4 seconds take so long? So yeah, she gives him the birthday present. She goes outside and starts to just thank God for having such a nice boss. She's like, oh, my boss is so great. God bless him. Continue to bless him forever and ever. And then mean coworker from earlier who turned away the widow comes and snatches her present away like he's gonna fucking steal it.
Right. Like he's an 8-year-old boy fucking with the 7-year-old girl he likes.
Exactly.
And then they talk about how nice the boss is.
Right. Well, and again, I just want to point out, look, I've been a boss. I generally give people their birthday off. You know, I just don't bring them into work and then like make them work most of the day and then be like, oh, but if you want to cut out an hour early, that'd be okay. Right. So, you know, yeah, it's nice and all, but it's not like unusually nice for a boss.
And they needed multiple characters to have multiple monologues and dialogues about how nice this character is. This was like a sex role play for Hillary Clinton. Like she just hires 2 gun teenagers to be like, say how likable I am. It is because she is a grandmother. She is so appealing. Say it again. Say it again. Say I'm funny. Tell him I'm funny.
70 odd minutes. You get it? Get it, guys? They were odd. So now we cut to probably the greatest scene in this movie. This is the hanging out outside with the kids scene. This is the husband and wife, the good brother and his wife from the first movie, hanging out in the driveway with their kids. What are they doing? Hanging out in the driveway with their kids.
Well, they're having a dance-off. They're having the most disappointing and stumbly dance-off/dance circle I've ever seen black people have captured on camera. I was very upset. Yeah.
It was actually kind of nice as a white guy to be like, okay, all right, some of them are exactly as good at this as me.
I could jump in on this Soul Train music
Yeah,
line.
exactly.
I'd look cool right now. My music note here was, you got served.
Heath.
Lunch by your mom and dad.
Oh, Crazy Billionaire Money. We remake this where Heath just jumps into their dance circle, but it's just all fuck dancing. Like he's just got eye contact with that 12-year-old the whole time, and he's just like, just worming up on that car, Like the gas is open by the time he's done with it. Just undoes that latch from the inside.
You've seen me dance before, haven't you?
If Crazy Billionaire Money doesn't include Heath twerking, it's just not worth it. So yeah, they have a dance party.
If you're asking for a favor at your wedding, check. Got it. Wink. Heard.
So, and the winner of the dance contest is Dad, apparently. And with all that important shit out of the way, we can close this very vital scene of people that we haven't really met in a driveway.
Yeah. And again, you said it before. This is by far the best scene in the movie so far. This is the only thing that's happened that required the invention of motion pictures, as far as I can tell.
Right.
So, there's that.
This was like the text game of movies. Yeah, exactly. And now we're back at the office, and he's dressed in purple, and all of the people are whispering business to each other.
Yeah, he looks like he's currently shadowing a genie. Like he's not a genie yet, he's just shadowing a genie. This is Kwame, well on his way to becoming a genie, aren't you, Kwame? I give a widow money. Sure did.
That was a wish. That was a wish. Well done. So, my note here is, remember all that stuff that happened in the first half of this movie? Why? Why would you waste memory? It's finite. Yeah. So, and apparently they're whispering about the security at the new power plant.
Right. He handles security for power plants and also money for the project.
The project. Yeah. I love it too, because clearly they just wanted these guys to be talking about something kind of business related before he gets this phone call. And what they went with was so insane. James says, well, we need to talk about security. And he says, like, yes, well, there will be an Army Corps stationed right outside of the power plant and police. So security will not be a problem. And then he gets the phone call. And it's like that was just the normal business conversation you guys came up with? An Army Corps stationed at a power plant? The fuck is wrong with your country, people?
This movie is like someone waterboarded his actual policies out of Donald Trump. He's just like, look, I'm gonna put the army everywhere, alright? Put my hair back on my head. I don't want Ivanka to see.
Crazy Billionaire Money. We're waterboarding Donald Trump. Also, we also have to use, in this scene, this is so amazing, we use rolling cuts as we move between the three characters that are talking.
Yeah.
Just picture that for a second, if you will. Right. And then he gets a call from his wife.
And his wife is calling to say she has a headache. She thinks she's getting malaria.
Malaria!
Who sends a text message about it? Like, really? Just stop Instagramming about it and go to the hospital. You have malaria? Why did you tweet me?
Right.
Right.
Look, I get the flu occasionally. I mean, less, actually, honestly, because flus are really just your body having an allergic reaction to eggs, so don't worry about it. But, like, I don't want to talk about that right now. No. But the truth is that, like, when I get a flu, I usually don't call my fiance and tell her I think I'm getting malaria.
Now, look, okay. If you're in Nigeria, malaria is really a thing. You know, in the U.S., teehee, malaria is not a thing to worry about. Yes, people really get malaria there, but what you don't do first of all, you don't self-diagnose malaria, and secondly, you don't just sit down in the grocery shop and say, I need to fan myself off, or this malaria is really going to get me today.
A little malaria-ish. Maybe I just...
Jill Stein says I can self-diagnose malaria. That's why I'm voting for her. She believes in choice.
Just asking questions.
Skeptic.
So apparently she needs him to come pick her up because she had to take the car in. It had a battery problem, probably a glitch. I hear the computers and those batteries get glitches. So he's got to leave work to go pick her up. The reason we have to do all of this, apparently, the reason we have to establish this is in case you didn't realize that he's the kind of good guy that drops everything to go pick his wife up when she has malaria.
This is if someone took this guy's drunk bachelor party toast and decided to make it into a feature-length film. And you know another thing? What he just like, every day is Valentine's Day for him, and he gives money to people, and he could do security for nuclear. I love you, man. I didn't realize they were making these as strong as they did, and I'm gonna go throw up. But I'm fine. I'm fine.
My wife has Zika virus. I'm just going to rub her head for a minute. Give her a little massage. Get rid of that.
Raise back up there a little bit. So, yeah.
If she's got Zika, it doesn't take long to rub her head. It's like when you grab an orange at the grocery store and you're like, oh, that one's bad. That one is bad. No, that avocado is not coming home with me.
This is why I'm not going to the Olympics.
Or Florida. So the wife now is sitting down in the middle of a grocery aisle, and there are people yelling behind her, and she asked them to stop yelling. We have a whole scene for that.
Yep.
That's a scene.
The scene. That's it.
Yeah. Anyway, so now we cut to two characters that just appeared in this movie, and they're in a field.
But they're from the last movie.
They are. We have something to go on, yes.
Yeah, that's his brother, the good guy's brother. His girlfriend broke up with him in the last movie.
The good guy's brother's the good guy's nephew.
Right, nephew. Because all he wanted was sex, and so he's chasing her again because he wants to get back together.
Yeah, he's just loafing around joblessly, and he says he misses her, and she says that he only misses her pussy, and he's like, well, yeah, I mean, that's what I meant. Yeah,
no, he's begging for a second chance. His nose is wide open. His nose is just flared out. It's so obvious.
So wide.
So, and then we get some great dialogue here. She says, you have to learn to take care of your girl, but I'm quite certain that word doesn't exist in your dictionary. And I'm like, which word?
I think it's girl. I think the word in the dictionary is girl.
Take isn't of? There's no one word that you can take out of that. Anyway, yeah.
Right. He promises to start hustling, and she says in order for him to prove it to her, he needs to raise 1,000 Nigerian dollars, which, just to remind you, is $3.
$3.
So, when this episode releases, you will find a GoFundMe that I have put up. It is for $3 to help Superman fuck his girlfriend. Please help Black Superman fuck his girlfriend. We're going for $3. If you contribute $3, you get nothing.
Yes. The satisfaction of knowing that creepy dude is off the street
for his whore money. Yeah. Trickstarter.com is another good spot. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and she says, like, basically, I'll have sex with you if you have more money, but not in a hoary way. You don't have to give me the money. You just have to have it, I guess. And he goes, like, where am I going to get that kind of money from? And, of course, the Vulture horror theme starts, and I'm like, he's going to use evil Vulture magic to raise his girlfriend fucking money, isn't he?
He's going to sell so many cans of tomatoes stewed. Oh, man.
$3 worth of
skyrocket. He'll have those $3 easy. Yeah.
Although, let's turn that criticism inwards for a second, because the best solution we came up with for using the Vultures of Horror was street performance. How two jugglers and one magician are we that we were like, oh man, you can build such a good crowd. You get enough hat lines with the Vultures of Horror. Other people would rob a bank, but we're like, no man, you get in Central Park, if they not got the cops sweeping around, you can make, $20-$50 a show. It'd be good.
I'm gonna jump over this vulture. Watch. Everybody gather around. Get closer.
Going through these hoops of fire. So now
guys, are Tick and Tack the Vultures of Horror? I'm gonna ask.
Might as well.
Two New Yorkers get that joke. Everyone else is like, the car talk guys?
They also could have been the Vultures of Horror. We don't know that they weren't.
Because they're from Boston.
Probably had something to do with that bombing. Where were you, Click and Clack?
Click and Clack did Boston's 9/11. Because it was easy. It was easy to do. That's why they did it.
So now hopefully you're done with all those characters, because this movie is. We're never going to see any of them again. Now it's on to completely new characters. These will be the village elders. And they're sitting around deciding to make one of these characters the new chief. And I just had this pang of white guilt on this scene because I realized that all the furniture that they have in this scene is shit that I threw away when I moved.
Ooh. Yeah, but that's okay because this guy's nomination speech is only a little bit better than Hillary's. So
hey, now.
Brought me back into it.
But now, and I wrote in my notes, but wait a minute, didn't old evil Vulture brother want to be chief? Wait a minute, this is getting complicated. I know what's going on in this scene.
He did, but this other guy, Lucky, seems the most credible.
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure it's his leopard print fez that's just oozing with credibility. That's how you pick a leader.
Yeah, you can tell he's the chief because he has a cab driver's car seat on his head.
That's right. Leather tunic and a cow hat. He's wearing a red leather tunic and a cow hat. I had to double check and make sure that I wasn't losing my goddamn mind. And this is where they explain too that Lucky, the new chief, his dad was a good person, so he must be good too. That's how it works.
Right. The offspring of a lion can never chew grass.
Yeah. That's
So if you'd like your offspring of a lion can never chew grass t-shirt, check that out at godawfulmovies.com//
great Shakira Kiki posters. And also the fucking guy Lucky, the guy who's the new chief, is possibly the worst actor in this film, and that's saying something. He goes like, once again,
Line.
looks off stage. I want to thank you very much. He needed to contemplate the line, I want to thank you very much.
Yeah.
And then he quotes Spider-Man's uncle.
Yeah. Great power, great responsibility.
Paraphrases anyway,
Yeah, he comes close.
Yeah, and so, and this is also where they realize, or where they establish that Kwame, who is the evil Vulture dad from the first one, is going to be pretty pissed off about that.
Right. But hey, you know the great rule of movies, which is tell, don't show? So now we need to see and have them tell that story and show it to us again. Now.
Yes.
Now. That's what happens.
Yeah. So now they head over to Kwame's house so that they can tell him that he's not going to be the chief, that Lucky is going to be the chief instead. So he's chilling on his porch, sitting on a throne, listening to a 1998 boombox.
Yeah, he's got a golden throne.
Yes.
And there's also like a shitty falling apart picnic bench that he makes. Who keeps those two things on the same porch?
Right. And Lucky arrives, and Lucky's wearing a silly hat, so I guess part of his contract was that he had to wear a silly hat in every scene. Like, he agreed to improvise all of his lines, but he had to get a different hat for every scene.
Yeah.
And again, I want to point out, this happens over and over again in this movie. The last scene, these people were leaving to go talk to Kwame. Now they're showing up in different outfits.
Yeah, including a tilted fedora this time. He's dressed like he's going to Whole Foods in Brooklyn. Fuck you.
And so Kwame is very clearly super pissed that he wasn't made new chief.
Right. And the argument that they have isn't about whether or not he should have been chief. It's whether or not witch hunting is a good idea, because this movie is pro witch hunting. This movie is a teddy bear that teaches eugenics. It's like if the Minions movie was a Thunderfoot video. It's the fucking craziest thing in the world.
It's okay. So they say that Kwame was suspended from the Elders Council for an unspeakable offense, which is why they won't tell us what the fuck it was, I guess, because it's unspeakable. But when they say that to him, he's like, but you guys are in favor of witch hunting. And they're like, well, yes. And the movie's just like, well, of course they're in favor. What, we can just leave the witches out there to steal people's penises? Oh my God. And it's also, I wrote, my fashion note here is that I have no pants that are the same material as my shirts. I will never be African elder cool.
We're going to change that.
You don't have that camo pajamas jumpsuit that the guy had?
I don't.
Oh my God.
That's what we're really adding ads to the show for, so that no one can have a series of jumpsuits.
When shiny jammies, damn it. I want to go to bed shiny. So, yeah, so they break the news here that the skinny dude is now going to be the chief, and Kwame fucking loses it.
Yeah.
Gives him a very stern fuck off. Also, by the way, his great Shaka Kiki poster is now on the porch.
Yeah, it's like a security blanket.
Oh, I see. He just carries it around with him.
It looked like a wall poster of these movies on his house.
Yes. Yeah, I'm sure that's what it was. I'm sure that's like the advertising material for this soap opera, yeah. So he runs him off the porch, and they brought him a gift, apparently, some, I'm guessing, magic olive oil. That's what we've seen in that container before. But he tells him to take it with him, get the fuck off his porch, because he's going to be chief no matter what.
No matter what.
And then we get pew, pew, pew for absolutely no reason. Just throwing it in there. Yeah, that's what happens next.
And then it's over. It comes up and it says the story has just began, and I'm like, not really though. It's going to begin in the next one, I would think. But yeah, that's it for the movie. The movie is over, and then it closes with a preview for the next one filled with way better shit than we just saw.
Yeah, people are going to turn into skeletons. They're going to drive into cars. A bird will laser people. People will disagree about business.
They throw that in there, don't they?
And they spoil the shit out of the next movie because they let us know that one of the main characters is going to die by what they reveal in the it's horrible.
Unless, of course, she can just magically turn into a skeleton when people try to rape her. We'll find out. Also, I have to point this out because both Heath and I had the exact same note here about Fat Cornel West getting attacked by flying chairs in the preview. God damn it, that guy was a dead ringer for Cornel West, wasn't he? Just a little younger and a little fatter.
Might actually be Cornel West, and he just let himself go. But why not get that character going in this one? He seemed interesting. He's getting attacked by flying office chairs. There's a lot going on.
There wasn't the time. They had so much to establish and never play out in this movie.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And apparently, the kid who needed the money to fuck his girlfriend will yell at a car in the next one. Looks pretty good. And also laser vultures and people too close to the microphone. And then more laser vultures. And an exploding car that looks super realistic, super legit graphics on the exploding car. And that's it.
I bet this was a preview for the preview that's the end of the next movie.
Oh.
It's just telling us.
So just to clarify, for those who are confused, this movie was not a preview, it was a movie.
Well, or what if the whole movie was a preview except for this last little preview part, which was the movie? Huh?
Which was a preview for another movie, meta. We're so deep down this hole now.
Oh, draw me a maze, Heath. Draw me a maze.
Yeah. And then it says, to God be the glory, and I'm thinking they probably got a letter from God's lawyer asking for his name to be taken off of this piece of shit. They just didn't, it's YouTube. They can get away with it.
Yeah, you and Tim Tebow can start giving me credit when he can throw the ball at someone and you can make a movie in English.
And I feel like I just wanted to throw out this out there because I'm watching the credits again, and like the last one, there are 55 people listed as drummers and only 21 listed as crew. And I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that the lyrics in part of the Vultures of Horror song is "Evil ones are everywhere, looking forward to Detroit."
The vultures are from hell.
That's.
I can understand why they'd be looking forward to Detroit if they come from hell.
It's just off the highway, yeah. And I guess since that was the whole thing or something, we're done. So like I said, there was no way this one was going to live up to the last one. But like honestly, how big a drop-off are we talking here? Are we talking the second Avengers movie? Are we talking Jurassic Park 2? Or like downright Caddyshack 2?
Oh, this could have been called Vultures 2: The Phantom Menace. This was rough.
The Kingdom of the Crystal Vulture.
Yeah, they're not good movies. It's kind of like your second night of food poisoning. Is it worse? Is it better? I mean, you can't have a third night of... If you have a third night of food poisoning, you have Ebola. So, like, I don't know. It's part of me...
All right, well, obviously we can't rate this movie with a thumb-based scale without highlighting how much smaller white men's thumbs are. So instead of that, I'll simply ask you this. What is the dumbest thing you could piss away magical laser vultures on that would still be a smarter use of them than we see in these movies?
Ooh, I'm gonna say, guarding the Benghazi embassy. Hashtag burn your bust. Hashtag never Trump. Wait, those
B and D.
Just the never Trump thing.
No BGT. No CBT.
And Eli?
I'm gonna go with, using it for 5-star reviews on iTunes.
And of course, I've already put my nickel down on street performance. So, well, that does it for a review of Vultures of Horror 2. That's not going to do it for the episode just yet because we still need to get you all giddy for next week. So, Eli, tell us, what's on deck?
What the bleep do we know?
For realsies this time.
We promise. Promise this time. For real.
Yeah, I mean, we like, it's gonna suck because, like, Cybabe was on and she was actually fucking hilarious, and then the internet gods did not smile upon us and the audio was lost, but we annotated the fuck out of it, so we're still gonna do that movie,
Frank War.
Well, see, that's what I was wondering. I'm wondering if Tom and Cecil didn't put her up to it. They're like, one time Eli came on our show and the audio got all fucked up. We need you to do that for us. We need you to... Anyway,
It was not snarky.
But we're definitely doing that this time, so we promise. I'll remember all the funny stuff we said about it last week. All that stuff again.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So with that to look forward to, we'll bring episode 51 to a merciful close. Special thanks to Yvette Detrimon, who actually did record an episode with us. It was fucking hilarious, and we're so sorry that it got lost.
She crushed it.
It was amazing. Anyway, but she has agreed to come on at another time, so we're going to get her back, and it's going to be really funny, and this time the audio ones won't get lost. Of course, also a huge thanks to all the Patreon donors that help make the show go. If you'd like to count yourself among their ranks, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/godawful, and thereby earn early access to every episode. You can also help us a ton by leaving us a 5-star review on iTunes and by sharing the show on all your various social media platforms. And if you enjoyed this show, be sure to check out our sibling shows, The Scathing Atheist and The Skeptocrat, available on iTunes, Stitcher, and wherever else podcasts live. If you have questions, comments, or cinematic suggestions, you can email godawfulmovies@gmail.com. All the music used in this episode was written and performed by Ryan Slotnick of Evil Giraffes on Mars and was used with permission. If you like what you hear more by following the links on the show notes for this episode. Thanks again for giving us a chunk of your life this week. For Heath Enwright and Eli Bosnick, I'm Noah Lugeons, promising to work hard to earn another chunk next week. Until then, we'll leave you with a Breakfast Club close.
Vultures,
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 there's like 100 more episodes of this terrible series. The plotline got all excited about resuming in the next episode.
Kwame eventually realized he could hit a home run all by himself.
Wicked Vultures introduced 18 more characters until Eli started giving them racist nicknames in his notes and was fired.
Whiteboard. Vultures. 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 Bueno.
I hope none of that was important. Started ripping up the nearest thing I could find. Like, I'm pretty sure those are notes I've already
Those
used.
weren't hundreds, were they? Cool. You can tape them back, but...
Pikachu.
I don't know if anyone thinks Pikachu is as funny as I do, but it doesn't matter. At a certain point, it's for me.
What else are we doing here?
Did we lose you, Eli?
No, I didn't have an end to the sentence.
Oh, okay, all right. We've been cutting out a little bit, quite a bit, so I'll just jump
The first
into
half
this.
of that sentence was funny.
You bring your phone everywhere. Work, school, the movies. Now you can bring it to an Xfinity store for an easy way to switch to Xfinity Mobile, a new kind of network designed to save you money. You can get up to 5 lines of talk and text included with Xfinity Internet at no extra cost, so all you pay for is data. It's never been easier to switch to Xfinity Mobile and keep the phone you love. Click here to see how. Sorry, I gotta take this. Restrictions apply. Limited to select mobile phones. Requires activation of a new line of Xfinity Mobile. Up to 5 devices per account. New Xfinity Internet customers limited to up to 2 lines pending activation of Internet service.